This is case number 223 on the calendar, the matter of Estes versus Oliver. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. Estes, it is your claim that Mr. Oliver was an uninvited guest in your home and that he assaulted you in your home.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Oliver, although he acknowledges that there were blows exchanged, says that he struck you in self-defense. You actually hit him first. And it is his claim that he was invited, not by you, but by someone else to the house. Is that right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you?
19.
You go to college?
Yes, ma'am.
Which one?
Oklahoma City Community College.
Could you try to speak a little slower? I'm old.
Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City Community College.
You live at home?
Yes.
And you, sir?
I go to a community college in Cleburne, Hill College. I did go to University of Oklahoma until this happened.
Is that why you changed schools?
Yes.
Did you have an apartment?
I was renting a house from witness Mark's parents had a rent house, and we were renting it from them.
How many people lived there?
3.
Were you living there as well, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Stand up. What's your name?
Mark Williams.
Are you scared?
No. Kind of nervous. A little nervous. I'm sorry.
Step over here. I have a couple of questions. Mr. Williams, this is your parents' house?
Yes.
Who was the third roommate?
Christopher.
Do you know Mr. Oliver? Did you know him before this incident happened?
Yeah, I knew him from high school, just randomly, just because we went to the same high school. I knew of him.
But he wasn't your friend?
No.
So you didn't invite him to your house?
No.
What date did this incident happen?
May 22nd.
Did you invite him to the house, Mr. Estes?
No, ma'am.
Did you know him from before?
No, ma'am.
Now, this Christopher person, is that the person that you knew?
No, ma'am.
You didn't know Christopher either?
No.
So you didn't know any of the 3 people that lived in this house?
No, ma'am.
What brought you to the house?
My friend DJ was leaving for the Navy, and they were throwing him a going away party, and he called us and asked us to come by.
You know DJ?
Yes.
Was he having a party at your house?
No, ma'am.
How many people were in the house on the evening of the 22nd of May?
About 7. We each had a friend over.
Was DJ there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it was the 3 people who lived in the house, plus 4 guests?
Yes.
All guys?
It was Sarah, one of her friends.
It was a girl.
It was a
Sarah
girl.
is definitely a girl.
Well, her friend is a girl.
What?
Her friend is a girl.
And DJ and us 3 that lived in the house.
Okay, so it was just a small gathering?
Yeah.
Okay, now you can sit down. Okay, so DJ said come on over to say goodbye?
Yes. He said they're having a going away party for me, and he asked
Well,
us
it
to come
doesn't
over.
sound like much of a party. There were only 7 people there.
There was more than 7 people there. There were people in the front yard.
There were only 7 people in the house, according to them. Where had you been that evening, Mr. Oliver?
I was over at a friend's house around campus.
Anybody drinking?
Yeah.
What about you?
Yes.
Who was driving?
Me.
How did I know that? How do you think?
I don't know, man.
You'll never know. So you were drinking and driving and went over to see your friend DJ, and what happened, sir?
When we were leaving the
Who's
party,
we?
my friend Ricky, and I had one more friend with me. I guess people overheard us and thought we were going to another party. So we had about 5 carloads of people following us, saying we're going to another party.
You had 5 carloads of people following you where?
They thought we were going to another party, man. We tried to tell them that we weren't, and they followed us anyway.
What time?
About 2:30 in the morning, ma'am.
You got the picture here, sir, that I'm not happy with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Keep going.
Okay, well, when we got there, we were walking up to the door. Mark lets me and my friend Ricky and David in.
You had let 3 of them in, is that right?
No.
Well, tell me what happened, sir. Thought he just said that you let them in.
I opened the door. I was the first one to open the door, and I see there's 30 people outside that I don't know. And I see him and Ricky. They first come in. I never said they could come in. They just kind of pushed me aside and came in.
Okay.
And then they ran into him.
Now, where were the other 30 people that were outside?
Just out in my front yard. And I was like, I don't want these people here because my neighbors are going to call the cops, you know. They're making noise.
Right. 5 carloads of them.
Yeah.
So he ran into you.
Yes, ma'am.
What did you say?
I told him it was late. I didn't know who they were. There were 20 or 30 people out in our yard. We didn't want them here. They needed to leave. He tried to push me aside, and I tried to push him out of my house, and he dragged me outside, and
Just a second. Well, Mr. Oliver, when Mr. Estes told you to leave, why didn't you leave?
Man, Mr. Estes never told us to leave. When we got there, Mark let us in. He stops us in the hall, and he put his hands on my chest and asked who are all these people.
Who were all these people?
Yeah, because they were still walking up. They
You
were
mean the
way
other
behind
30
us.
of them?
I don't know if it was 30, ma'am.
5 carloads. And he said to you, who are all these people? And what did you say?
I said, ma'am, I don't know. They followed us here.
And what happened after you
Well,
said that?
when he put his hands on me, I pushed his hand down like that, and I asked him not to touch me because I didn't know him. And he looks at me crazy and tells me that, you know, he pays the MF and rent here, and grabbed me by my shirt like that and tried to push me into the door. And when he did that, I kind of put my weight forward, and when I did, he swung at me, and he hit me in the jaw. And I retaliated by hitting him twice. He falls forward on me, I'm on my back, and I try to get up. I push myself, and he's still got a hold of my shirt. So people are running over there kicking and hitting. I'm getting kicked, he's getting kicked. I can't get up, and then I finally get pulled to my feet from one of my friends. And then when I got to my feet, I saw Mark had a cast on his hand. I don't remember which hand it was. But he's pushing people back, and he swung it at my friend Ricky here. And Ricky blocked, and it hit him in his forearms with the cast. And then Ricky pushed him back, and pretty much got out of there after that. Because I didn't know those people. It was, I mean, it's a rich neighborhood. It's 2:30 in the morning, so we left. I didn't want to be involved with that situation.
Well, Mr. Oliver, if you didn't want to be involved with that situation, sir, why didn't you just go home?
Because my friend
Instead of making trouble by stopping with 5 carloads of people that you don't know that have been out drinking all night because it's 2:30 in the morning and they're going to another party. Instead of being involved in creating a situation where none existed, Mr. Oliver, you created an incident. You had enough to drink, you were behind the wheel, you were taking a caravan over to someone's house that you didn't know in the rich part of town. You brought with you 5 carloads of drunken teenagers looking for another party. That's what you did. You created an incident because you're young and stupid.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You were arrested for using an illegal drug.
No, I got arrested for possession, ma'am.
Either you were using or selling. I mean, you weren't decorating your house with it, right?
And later today,
Till I see your world implode, I wish you death and suffering, misery to spare. To my ex, you know who you are.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Gary Estes III says he was assaulted in his home by Ryland Oliver. Ryland says Gary swung at him first.
Mr. Oliver, they don't live in a rural area on 30 acres, do they? They live with houses right next door?
Yes.
With maybe people who are not 19 years old?
Yes.
Maybe sleeping at 2:30 in the morning?
Probably.
Maybe not interested in hearing you and your moronic friends? Probably.
Ma'am, when we got there, it was not 7 people there. They had people outside
Listen
drinking
to me,
in front of the
sir.
yard.
You brought over 5 carloads of people to a neighborhood where they didn't belong. And if you wanted to say goodbye to your friend, and if unfortunately 5 carloads of people, strangers, started to follow you, you go to the local police precinct and you say, these 5 carloads of people are following me. I don't want them to follow me. But you don't take them to an unsuspecting neighborhood unless you're an idiot. Can I see photographs, please? You have photographs for me?
No.
Was he arrested?
No.
Why not?
Because the police said that they felt that if we pressed charges, he'd retaliate. And
Can I see your police report, please?
And that's, the picture of me is proof that I didn't just get pushed when I was trying to break it up.
No, you got so you were
I got
assaulted.
hit.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes, ma'am.
how many times you were arrested before?
Once.
When?
February 7th, I believe.
Of this year?
Yes.
For what?
Possession of marijuana and speeding.
So at that point, you were arrested for using an illegal drug and driving, right?
No, I got arrested for possession, ma'am. I
Well,
never got arrested
either
for
you were
influence.
using or selling. I mean, you weren't decorating your house with it, right?
Probably
Either
not.
you were using or selling.
I was using, ma'am, but I was.
Well, that's the answer. Can I see your unreimbursed medical bills, please? Anything you want to say to me?
No, ma'am.
Good idea. You're a fast learn. You have any idea how many people were hitting you?
4 or 5, at least, were kicking me.
And the 4 or 5 that were hitting you and or kicking you, because you have serious lacerations in your head, were those the people that came in this caravan of 5 cars?
I'm
They weren't
assuming.
your guests.
No, they weren't. And I still have shoulder rehab I have to go through. I may have to have surgery on it.
There are consequences to your actions. One of the consequences to your actions is having to listen to me. I'm telling you that your actions caused him serious physical injury and a lot of pain and suffering, because I've seen the photographs. Have you seen them?
Nope.
Would you like to see them?
Not really.
It's mature. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
I was getting kicked in the face, and I just tried to cover my head up, and Ryland stomped on my head and split it open.
When I was leaving, he was on the ground, and there was people swarming him.
All I was trying to do was get people off of him, and then they started hitting me.
He was practically unconscious, and he was bleeding like a waterfall of blood from his nose. It was terrible.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Smith versus MacArthur. Step forward, please.
19-year-old Jennifer Smith is suing her ex-fiancé, 23-year-old James MacArthur, for destroying her property, throwing her engagement ring in a lake, and slander.
Miss Smith, you and Mr. MacArthur were engaged to be married. It didn't work out. And it is your claim that after you broke up, Mr. MacArthur took some of your property, vandalized some of your property, and then posted some very negative things about you on the internet, which you view as slanderous, and you want to be compensated for that. Mr. MacArthur says the only thing that he took back was the engagement ring.
Yes.
And as far as destroying your property, he did not do that. And as far as placing items on the internet, he says he never mentioned you by name on any website. How long were you engaged, Mr. MacArthur?
We were engaged for about 2 years.
Did she break up with you, or did you break up with her?
She wanted to take time apart, and I told her I did not want that.
Okay, so she wasn't sure.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably a good idea, that you didn't get married.
Yeah.
If somebody's not sure, it's better off to figure it out now than later, right?
Yes, Ron.
All right, Miss Smith, what items do you claim that Mr. MacArthur stole from you?
He has several of my CDs. He took my engagement ring. I was later informed that that was thrown into a lake.
Well, the engagement ring he's entitled to take back.
It was a birthday present. It was given to me as a birthday present. It was given to me on my birthday as an engagement
your
ring.
engagement ring was given to you on your birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, he's entitled to it back.
It was given as a birthday gift, though.
Listen to, watch me. He asked you to marry him and gave you a ring on your birthday. It was an engagement ring. Did you show it to people as an engagement ring?
Yes.
Did you say to them, this is my engagement ring?
It was.
Did you say to them, this is my engagement ring?
Yes.
You didn't say, this is my birthday present. You got my drift, Miss Smith.
Yes.
If you broke off the engagement, it means the marriage never took place. He's entitled to the ring back. And if he wants to throw it in the lake, he can throw it in the lake. And if he wants to throw it down a sewer, he can do that too. Okay? See how fair I am? Okay. Do you have any of her CDs, Mr. MacArthur?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
I'm not getting myself totally exercised over the CDs. People who were engaged for 2 years, if all they're fighting about is CDs, that means they're not very mature.
I also have CDs that he returned to me that were destroyed when I picked them up.
I'd like to see those.
This is only the ones that were returned to me. That's not the ones that he still has possession of. Some of those are expensive CDs. Some of the CDs that he still has are very expensive.
I don't know what you mean they're destroyed. I have no idea what that means.
If you look at all of them, each of them has a gouge going from the center to the outside. They're completely destroyed. There's absolutely no way of
Well, this one. Yeah, this one is
fixing
too.
those.
How did that happen, Mr. MacArthur?
I don't know, Your Honor. Her CDs sat in my trunk. I use my car for work, so I have tools coming in and out of my car every day. I don't
Your
pay
Honor,
attention.
my CDs were in a CD case.
Yeah, Mr. MacArthur. That looks like somebody purposely did that.
And it's
over there.
not, it's identical.
Shh. You know how fair I am. This looks like somebody purposely did that. Well, doesn't that look to you as if somebody did that with a something?
Yeah, by all means.
You know what I mean, Mr. MacArthur?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, I don't think she would do that to her own CDs, because that would be stupid, especially since she broke up with you. But it would seem to me that you were pretty angry. So I have to put 1 and 1 together. That makes you. All right. So now you have these destroyed CDs, which I am placing squarely at the foot of him.
That doesn't include the ones that he still has.
I just answered your question about that 2 minutes ago. What part of I don't care don't you understand? There's no excuse for him vandalizing your property.
What's the excuse for him posting vulgar, slanderous stuff on the
Well,
internet?
that I want to see. There's no excuse for it. There's a reason that he might have done it, but that doesn't mean that there's an excuse.
He says that he never did it, although he called my house and he called my mother at her work.
Don't tell me what he told your mother unless your mother is here. Is this what you're telling me?
Yes, it
Came
is.
off the internet?
Yes, it is. I was told to read that.
Shh. He doesn't mention your name here.
No, but it says to my ex, you know who you are, and I was told that
Don't tell me what you were
told.
told.
To read it.
Listen to me. Don't tell me what you were told. That's hearsay.
And I
There's no.
called
Listen
him-
to me. He says, as far as his ex is concerned, one day the sun will die and the night will crawl. Until then, until I see your world implode, I wish you death and suffering, misery to spare. To my ex, you know who you are. Right?
I called him right after I read that, and I said, what is this about? He said, oh, I didn't mean to hurt you. I said, you wrote that, yet you didn't mean to. How could that not hurt me?
Ms. Smith, you have to understand what slander is. Slander is something that you say that is not true about somebody in a way that they can be identified. For instance, if he said, my ex, Jennifer Smith, has the following diseases, so everybody better stay away from her, and that's not true, then you can sue him for slander. I'm speaking, you're not listening. That's slander. If he wrote you a letter, and in the letter said to you, I wish you had a slow, painful death, and I was there to watch. I wish you suffer and get a vile disease. And he wrote that to you in a letter. That's not slander. That's the way he feels. That's protected speech. If you wrote this, I assume you did. He's entitled to do that.
It is slanderous, though, because at the top of it, it says, I just left someone who did nothing but use me for my money, and when she was done, she went and found someone new to do the same to them. My current boyfriend was hesitant about even talking to me because of that, because he assumed that because he stated it, that...
Listen to me. Who showed your boyfriend this?
I did.
Listen, I would like to... Listen to me. I want you to kiss the ground. You got the ring back, and that you're moving on with your life because she's not wrapped too tight. You got it? Good. But you can't scratch her CDs because that's childish. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
That you got to give her $150 for. The rest of your stuff is nonsense. What'd you do with the ring, by the way?
Threw it in a lake.
Attaboy.
Angry about her new relationship.
Yeah, this is case number 208 on the calendar in the matter of Skelsey versus Roberts. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Thank you, Bird.
You're welcome, Judge.
Mr. Skelsey, you and Miss Roberts, according to the complaint that I've read, dated for a period of time. You claimed that you made her a loan of $250 at some point for rent. In addition, after you were no longer together, you never lived together, but you probably stayed over occasionally at her house because you claim you have some clothes at her house that she refuses to give you.
A few nights, yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Roberts says that the $250 that you gave her for her rent was a gift and that everything in the house that was yours you took. When did you date Miss Roberts? From when to when?
We met each other in January of this year. We met off a chat line kind of thing. We just started dating right off the bat.
You both live in the same community?
Yes, in the same area, yeah.
And when was this loan that you gave to her?
The loan was in May. She was having financial difficulties.
Tell me about the conversation that you had with her when you discovered she was in financial distress.
Actually, she asked me. She said,
No.
She did. She asked me. She goes, I'll do anything for you. Can you loan me some money? I'm having financial difficulties. I said, can you ask, one of the fathers of your children
He offered to give
do
it to
this?
Listen to me, Miss Roberts. Don't speak again until it's your turn.
And she said that she didn't want to do it because she was scared of like a custody thing. I said, okay, I understand. I have the extra money. I'm going to need the money back soon, but I have the money right now available to you. I said, so here's the money. I wrote it out to her landlord.
You have a copy of the check?
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
Bird? She chewing gum.
Chewing gum?
Yes.
Well, you shouldn't do that.
Okay, May 23rd. Was she late in her rent?
She wasn't working because she was sick.
No, no,
so
no.
was she late in her rent?
No, I'm asking you. This is dated May 23rd. Was this for May's
Yes.
rent?
Yes.
So you were almost a month late in your
Yes.
rent. Okay, so that's the loan. She never paid you back.
No, ma'am.
When did you stop dating Miss Roberts?
Oh, we stopped dating in like the end of February. We became friends with like benefits kind of thing. And, you know, I'm not one to move fast with a relationship. And her feelings moved fast with me.
So you stopped dating in February,
Yeah.
but remained friends.
Oh, yeah, close friends. Very close.
And shortly after the loan, you stopped speaking?
Almost automatically right after the loan. She said she was busy with work and everything else, but all of a sudden a day-to-day, you know, call or hanging out or whatever becomes, I didn't hear from her for like a week.
Okay. And what clothes do you have at her house, Mr.
Nike
Sir?
sweatshirt, a Champion sweatshirt, and a Nike pair of shorts.
Okay. You're not going to bother me with those things, are you? You know how many years I went to school? Do you know how many years? A lot of years. You don't
More
think
than
I'm
me.
going to be bothered by your Nike sweatshirt or Nike sneaker or whatever it is that you're just talking about?
I value my clothes.
Yeah, good. Shouldn't have left them at her house.
I thought I could trust her.
Listen to me. This is not a give and take.
All right.
Do
Sorry.
you understand?
Mm-hmm.
We're not on an equal footing.
Okay.
I will discuss this alleged loan.
I also have a proof on tape recorder.
That
She admits to borrowing the money. I got it off my answering machine.
I'm going to hear it.
Right now?
Now's the time.
2 p.m. You are out of your mind if you think you're going to be taking me to court and thinking you're going to make $100 more than what you let me borrow for clothes. Come on now, Rob. It's ridiculous. There's clothes that you gave me because, see, what the you get out of me, all right? You want to do it this nasty way? I'm going to be a nasty and do it evil too.
Thank you. There is a way to communicate, Miss Roberts, that doesn't involve profanity. You do understand that?
Yes.
Now, how old are you, madam?
26.
And how many children do you have?
I have 4.
And how many fathers do your 4 children
2.
have? 2 for the youngest, 2 for the oldest?
No, she told me. Sorry.
How old are your children?
9, 8, 6, and 5.
Okay. Why did you run short of money?
Because I was out of work, I was sick.
What was the matter with you?
I had strep and mono.
For how long?
For 2 weeks.
So what did you say to the plaintiff?
We were friends. I cried to him that I was late in rent. He offered to give me the money. At first, I said I didn't want to. And then, like a week later, I mentioned it again, how I was stressed out. And
No,
he
you didn't
offered
mention it again. That's not a mention. First, you told him you cried, offered you the money. You said no. Okay? Then it's over. You say no.
Right.
But then a week later, what did you say to him?
Then I was crying again, stressed out that I was behind. And then he offered again. And then I said
didn't
yes.
offer you ass.
Shh, 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 shh. Remember what I said to her?
I did. I did. Sorry.
So he helped you out with the rent.
Yes.
And then you went back to work.
Yes.
So why don't you pay him back?
Because then I got threatened with court.
Can I explain?
Well, just a second.
And it wasn't a loan to begin
Just a
with.
second. You know you have to pay rent. Miss Roberts, listen to me. Rent isn't something that comes up and bites you on the behind like a surprise. You know the first of every month you have to pay rent, right?
Yes.
This isn't an unexpected medical bill, an unexpected bill because your generator broke in your car, an unexpected bill because the brakes went dead. This is a set bill, you know. $250 for rent.
Your Honor, can I explain something?
Yes.
She said she was going to pay me on a certain day. I didn't get a phone call. I tried calling her 1,000,000 times in one day. I went to her house, not trying to harass, but, you know, make good on the deal. We're friends. Why are you going to avoid me? And then she tells me that she's stiffing her landlord because she wants to get out of her lease. So what makes her think she ain't going to stiff me?
Just a second. What do you mean she was stiffing her landlord? What
She
is that?
doesn't even live at her current address.
Yes, I do.
Well, you told me you were going to stiff your landlord and your
How
phone
do you,
got
no,
shut
listen
off.
to me. Did she explain that to you, sir? How she was going to stiff her landlord just by not paying him rent?
Said that she wanted to get out of the lease, and the only way she could get out of it is by not paying her rent.
So then
I'm
why
still
did you
at
give
my
her 200?
address.
Shh. Then why did you give her $250?
Because she didn't have the money for rent, and her landlord said she'd get thrown out on the street, and I did it for the kids. I didn't do it for her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He asked me how come I seemed so distant, and I told him because I was seeing someone else, and he got mad.
Oh, that's a lie. Oh, you were dirty.
And later today,
You're going to tell me the truth today, even if it was a little different from what you told your mother. Got it?
Yes.
Because otherwise, bad things are going to happen.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Robert Skelzy says ex-girlfriend Chalise Roberts owes for rent and the return of his clothes. Chalise says the money and clothes were both gifts.
All right, Miss Roberts, was he annoying you after you stopped taking his phone calls?
He wasn't annoying me. We were still really good friends. And we went for a walk one time. I do long walks to exercise. He came with me, and he asked me how come I haven't talked to him really, how come I seem so distant. And I told him because I was kind of seeing someone else, and he got mad.
Oh, that's a lie.
Shh. Just
I knew you were, though.
Just
Oh, you were dirty.
listen to me. If you open your mouth again, I'm going to say goodbye. Do you understand?
Yeah. Wow.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. You got to understand, please. I'm sorry.
Miss Roberts, I want you to pay very careful attention to me. My sense is that you've made a certain amount of mistakes in your life. I think based on your history that that's a fair statement. You have 4 children, only 2 of them live with you. You got yourself in a financial pickle to the extent that you couldn't pay rent at your age with 4 children. That suggests to me that you've made certain tactical errors in your life.
No, I don't think so.
Well, from a more mature perspective, I'm telling you that if you have a 9-year-old child and you're 26 years old, then you've made certain mistakes in your life. You have to wait until you grow up. You have to wait until you grow up to have children. Otherwise, you have 2 children who don't live with you. Now, what you don't want to do is make another mistake. Uncross your arms.
I'm sorry.
He can be a problem. I want you to take that from somebody who has been around people for a very long time in this circumstance, and I'm telling you that if pushed, he can be a problem. So what you have to do is you have to say, do I want another problem in my life? Do I want this man angry with me, lives close by, I have a new relationship? Do I want him to have any connection to me that I can avoid? If not, and the only thing that's holding us together is a $250 rent check and a Champion sweatshirt, I can either have peace or I can have grief. And if you're a mature 26-year-old, you say, $250? Price of peace? It's well worth it. Do you understand?
The only payment he wanted back was sex for that money.
Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Does that make sense to you? For $250 and a Champion sweatshirt, I can have peace, or I can have him annoyed with me, feel as if he's been used, feel as if he's been taken, feel as if he's been abused, feel as if he's been made a fool of.
I did all the work there, too.
Sorry.
Not ever again.
Do you understand what I mean? He can't control himself.
Oh, I know.
That's what you want?
No.
You're an idiot if that's what you want. So I'm going to help you along. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $250. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It was one of them things, let me borrow the money and I'll do anything for you.
He's just jealous that I moved on and that I'm not giving him sex anymore.
We were intimate at the time, so I made, sexual innuendos.
When he gave me the money, not the loan, not the borrowing that he's talking about, when he gave it to me, he said, well, I get sex when I want it. And I just snickered.
I do miss her and I do care about her.
When he got scared when we were serious and backed out, I decided I wanted something more serious.
It's one step to getting to know somebody.
And I couldn't be with him.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Skalkos versus Boucher. Step forward, please.
Deborah Skalkos is suing 9-year-old Russell Boucher Jr. and his mother, Christy, for damage to her car. Deborah says Russell dinged it with a shopping cart.
Miss Skalkos, is that right?
Yes.
According to your complaint, this young man right here accidentally dented your car with a shopping cart.
Correct.
You believed he and his mother are responsible
Correct.
for the dent. Miss Boucher says neither she nor her son are responsible for the dent on your car. So tell me where you were when this happened and when.
Okay. On the evening of April 20th, I was driving my car in a shopping area, and as I was getting ready to cross a speed bump, this little boy here, he yells, "Watch out," and a shopping cart came crashing into my car. And he says, "I'm sorry, ma'am, it slipped out of my hand." And there were cars behind me, and I wanted to pull into a parking stall to get out and look at my car. And I did, and there was a small dent in my car, and then I tried to find the little boy, and he was gone, and I didn't know what store he went into.
Okay, so you did not see him with the shopping cart in his hand?
I saw him pulling out the shopping carts, and it came crashing into my car.
Madam, I want to know exactly what it is that you saw. Don't make anything up.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
I read your complaint, and what you just testified to is different from your complaint. What you just testified to was you saw the little boy.
Yes, I did.
And you saw the cart hit your car.
Correct.
But you never saw his hand on the cart.
Correct.
And he said to you, I'm sorry, it slipped out of my hand.
Correct.
Is that what you saw?
That's what happened, yes.
Is that what you saw, is my
Yes.
question. So you didn't see him trying to pull the cart out of the long row of carts, and it
Correct.
slipped out of his hand, right?
Right.
All right, because that's what you wrote in your complaint. So that was a mistake. You were mistaken about that.
Yes.
Should not be mistaken about that, because you signed it and you read it. You say, I noticed a young boy standing on the sidewalk and pulling a shopping cart out of the cart holder. And my question to you is, you didn't see that.
I didn't see him pull the cart out.
All you saw was him standing there,
Yes.
the cart coming towards you,
Correct.
and the cart hitting your car.
Correct.
And then he yelled, watch out.
Yes, he did.
And then, according to you, he said, I'm so sorry, ma'am.
Yes, he did.
He didn't say, I'm sorry it slipped out of my hand. That's not what you said in your complaint.
But that is what he said. He said it slipped out of my hand.
Okay. Tell me your name.
Russell Boucher,
Russell. How old are you?
9.
Have you ever watched this program?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How many times have you watched it?
A couple of times.
And I think that your mom is very proud and very supportive of you, right?
Yes.
And I think you're a nice boy.
Thank
So you're going to tell me the truth today about what happened that day, even if it was a little different from what you told your mother. Got it?
Yes.
Because otherwise, bad things are going to happen here.
Okay.
Got it? Okay. Now, your mom went in shopping,
Yes.
and at some point she told you that she needed another cart.
Yes.
So what did you do?
I went out to get another cart, and when I went out the exit, there was one right next to the exit on the left-hand side. So then I was grabbing the cart, and then I saw it going. I ran after it, and I yelled,
Now you
"Watch
grabbed
out."
the cart. Stop right there.
Okay.
You grabbed the cart.
Mm-hmm.
How did you grab it? Show me with your hands.
I went like this.
So you grabbed it and you touched the handlebars?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then you tried to wheel it around?
Yes.
And then what happened?
And then when I saw that shopping cart going,
So it slipped out of your hand?
because like there was 2 carts. I was grabbing one out of the cart stack, and then there was one on the side of the exit. I was grabbing the one out of the car stack. I didn't grab it completely. It was halfway out, but it wasn't that one that went. It was the one next to the exit that went.
Okay,
And I
but you
ran
touched
after
it. Your cart touched it. The one that you were pulling touched it.
Yes.
And then you went inside. When you went inside, did you tell your mother?
Yes.
What did you tell?
Cart that was rolling down. I started running after it, and I couldn't catch it. I said, "Watch out!" And then that's all I told her.
But you didn't tell her about the fact that you were touching the cart with the other cart, and that's when it started to roll down.
No.
All right, she's going to love equipped to do. I certainly have some trouble trying to get those carts out of those cart holders, too, when we go shopping. You pull one, and all of a sudden you get 30. You don't want 30, all you want is one. But I'm very glad you told the truth today. Okay?
Yes.
Good. Got it, Mrs. Boucher? It's a little different. Right. Not a major deal. Good for you.
Thank you.
Told the truth today? If you had told your mother the truth right then and there, we might have avoided this whole problem. So you have to remember that for the future, okay?
Yes.
How much is the cost to fix your car?
$601.
Wow, let me see. What kind of a car do you have?
I have a 2004 Toyota Highlander.
Let me see. You have pictures of the car?
Yes.
There's a ding in it.
Yes. That's it.
There are 2 dings.
Mm-hmm. The shopping cart, it dinged it.
Well, I'm going to give you some advice, okay? I also have a very nice car. And somebody last week dinged my brand new car. And we called the ding doctor. And for $150, the ding doctor comes to your house and pulls out the ding. Not 600, 150. And I am sure, where do you live?
In Rancho Cucamonga.
Ah, that's in California.
Yes.
Where every person has 9 cars. I guarantee you, you will find a ding doctor for $300 that will come and pull out these 2 dings in your car. Okay? Not 600. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $300. That's all. Thank you.
This is case number 278 on the calendar in the matter of Pasquinelli versus Weathers. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Bird,
Yep.
would you get the defendant a sweater, please, or have her go outside and get herself a sweater?
Okay.
She looks cold to me. We'll be with you in a moment, sir. Oh, that's much better. Much, much better. Mr. Pasquinelli, according to your complaint, you and Miss Weathers lived together for a period of time. You rented an apartment together, you were splitting the bills. And then you were deployed to the Gulf.
Yes.
And it was your arrangement with the defendant that she was going to stay in the apartment, that you would continue to pay half the rent, and she would pay half the rent, and she would pay all the utilities since she was living in the apartment.
Yes.
You returned from the Gulf and found that she had not paid the rent, that the utilities were never paid, and according to you, she owes you a bundle of money.
Yes.
The defendant says that she only lived in the apartment for 5 months after you left, and you agreed to cover her rent because she was a little short, and in addition, she never received the utility bills. They went directly to your parents' house. That's your defense?
Correct.
All right. When did you move into the apartment together, Miss Withers?
November.
What was your financial agreement?
That we would split the rent and the utilities while he was
How much was
away.
your share of the rent?
$675.
Is that correct, sir?
No, it was actually $575.
And how long did you pay the $575?
Up through January, February.
Through January. When were you deployed to the Gulf, sir?
January 17.
Now, what about the utilities? Did you pay half of the utilities up until he went away?
I did.
Is that correct, sir?
Yes, she did.
Now, how did your agreement change, Miss Weathers, when he left for the Gulf and he was no longer living there?
I actually ended up getting a DUI because my truck broke. I had a tire. It was a brand new truck, and he had said that while I was paying my $3,000 lawyer and all my fines and my truck, that I wouldn't have to pay and that we would do it. I would get it back
just
to
look
you
at me.
eventually.
And what?
That it was until I was able to. I could just pay what I could.
Was there a full sentence there someplace that I didn't hear?
I don't know how to break it down exactly.
Try speaking in a full sentence, you know, with a beginning and a middle and an end and a start and a finish.
I would just pay what I could when I could.
There you go. That wasn't hard, was it?
It was fine.
So how much did you pay?
$300.
When did you deposit $300?
February.
Show me.
I know he has his bank statement he can prove. I even called his mother to get his bank information.
Well, if you called his mother to get his bank information, that means that what you were doing is you were paying the entire rent out of his bank account. Is that right?
Oh, before he left, he gave them checks in full.
Really?
Yes, Your Honor.
How was she supposed to pay her half?
I left her deposit slips from my bank account to deposit it directly into my checking account.
So it was all taken out of your bank, and
Yes.
she never deposited any money. She says in February she deposited $300. I'm just curious. Do you have any indication of that?
I don't, but I will say that's true. She did deposit that money.
So your agreement now, according to you, now that we got a full sentence, Ms. Withers, was that when you could, you would pay him back.
That's correct.
After the $300, when did you start paying him back?
I didn't.
Why?
Because we were talking, and it was just pretty much that whenever I could pay it, I would, and at the time, I couldn't. So eventually, you know, we would just come out in the end. I have an email.
There's a sentence there.
It's coming.
There's a sentence there. I know it's coming.
It's coming. I have an email. There's the sentence from him.
I have an email. That's perfect. 4 words. Sounds just about right.
I thought so. Just basically him saying that he knows that I can't pay it, and eventually we will get through it.
Well, that's pretty much what you said. I don't know what was awesome. Something was awesome before we got to the rent.
Oh, we did thousands of emails, so the headlines were a little wacky.
Oh, I see. And he does indicate here, I know you are trying and doing what you can, and I know you'll get me when you can. So, what are you doing now, Miss Withers?
Now I don't understand.
What are you doing now?
In regard to paying him back?
In regard to your life, what are you doing?
I'm an accountant.
An accountant, that's a good thing, so you deal in numbers.
Correct.
And who do you work for?
I was working for Quintera. Right now I'm in between.
How are you supporting yourself again?
Well, unemployment.
Who is this?
This is Anthony.
Anthony. I assume Anthony has a last name?
Palazzo.
And what does Anthony do?
He's also an accountant. He's my boyfriend.
Do you live together?
Correct.
So now you're paying the bills?
Yes.
Not like that at all. This is...
Just a second. Good for you.
That's not the case. Don't make it look like that, because that's not the case.
Looks like the case to me. Looks like he went overseas. I'm sure it wasn't easy over there, and he's expecting you to do the right thing. Instead of doing the right thing, you got yourself drunk. You had an accident with your car. It's not his fault that you had to pay $3,000 in lawyers and fines and everything else that you had to pay because of your own irresponsible behavior while he was away. And so my question is, when do you expect to start paying him back? He expected you to pay him back.
Actually, before he did this, I'd set it up where I would be paying him $300 a month. And he was okay with it. And the next thing I know, I'm getting this in the mail. Right after we had had a phone conversation, I had given him $100 just for that week because he had come back.
What did she say when she gave you the $100?
She didn't deliver it to me, her boyfriend did.
And what did he say?
He didn't really say much.
Stand up. Anthony.
Yes.
What did you say when you delivered the $100?
I was just the carrier. I was just dropping it off, gave him $100.
Good. So you had a conversation with Miss Withers. Is that right?
Correct.
And what did Miss Withers tell you about the $100?
She said that she owed him $100, drop it off after work. And on my way home from work, I just dropped it off, didn't have any conversation.
Anthony.
Yes.
If my girlfriend with whom I was living, or my boyfriend with whom I was living, said to me, here, take $100 to my ex-boyfriend, I owe it to him, I would ask, what for? Unless you're a drone and just do
no,
things
I knew
as you're
she
told.
owed him money.
Okay. Now,
But
what did
she
you...
couldn't
Stop
afford it, though.
speaking.
Okay.
You knew she owed him money.
Yes.
Is that because she told you she owed him money?
Yes.
And how much money did she say she owed him?
She did not tell me exact amount.
What did she tell him she owed the money for?
She didn't tell me either. I just
And
knew.
you didn't ask?
I didn't ask.
You are some inquisitive guy.
Thanks. Thanks.
You're only interested in the important things, right?
That's correct.
Oh, that's right. I'm not going there.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Now, you, Anthony, look like a relatively normal person. So don't play games with me, sir. Do we understand each other?
We do.
You don't want me to embarrass you, do you? I'm capable of it, you know.
And later today,
2:30 in the morning is not an appropriate time to go visiting, sir.
It's a booty call, Your Honor.
What?
It's a booty call. She always calls
Don't
late
be
night.
smart.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jonathan Pasquinelli says former live-in girlfriend Laura Weathers owes for rent and bills while he was deployed in Iraq.
Anthony, what do you do for a living, sir? You're an accountant?
I'm actually a financial advisor.
So you're not a dummy, right?
No, I'm not.
If my girlfriend said to me, I owe my ex-boyfriend money, you would say, what do you owe money for, honey? How much do you owe him? Did you have a payment schedule? What are you going to do? Those are the questions that a normal person would ask. Now, you, Anthony, look like a relatively normal person. Yeah. So don't play games with me, sir. Do we understand each other?
We do.
You don't want me to embarrass you, do you?
No.
Any more than I have done already? I'm capable of it, you know.
Okay.
Now, when did you have a discussion with her about how much and what she owed him the money for?
We really never discussed how much she owed. I just knew that she owed him money, and that was it. I didn't really want to know how much. I didn't want to get involved because I didn't want to get in the middle between money because I know how people act around money, so.
You didn't want to be responsible.
Correct.
Now, Anthony.
Yes.
That's smart.
Thank you.
Because if you say, how much do you owe, and she tells you, the temptation might be there to say, let me give it to you because I don't want you to have any connection with him anymore.
Correct.
So you didn't do that.
I didn't want to know. And
Why didn't you want to know, Anthony?
Because I didn't want to know how much it was. It could have been a lot, it could have been a little. I didn't want to know.
Well, you said I didn't want to know 3 times, and so I'm asking you, why didn't you want to know? Weren't you curious?
No.
Weren't you a little curious,
I was
Anthony?
not. Not at all.
When were you deployed, sir? In January?
January 17.
When did you get home?
July 31st.
So she was there ostensibly for 5 months. Is that right?
I don't know when she left.
I don't care when she left. She was there for 5 months.
Fine.
That she owes you money for. And she owes you $2,875. Now, tell me about the utility bills.
When I got home, I had a $617 gas and electric bill.
Can I see it, please? What were you doing there?
I wasn't even there.
You were making wine? What were you doing?
I have no idea. I
Actually,
wasn't.
this is gas and electric also. And these are unopened. Just, I didn't know if...
Can I see the unopened ones,
Yes.
please?
This is actually cable, which I'm not allowed to have cable in San Diego anymore because the bill's
Okay.
never paid.
You live at 9215?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and these were sent to 9215? Well, she paid you $300, so I'm deducting that from the $28.75, leaving $25.75. And here is a bill. Ooh, past due, date mailed, May 3rd. You would still be there, right?
No, I moved out in the beginning, in the beginning of May. I wasn't there.
Well, this is mailed on May 3rd, so you owe $574.27 for this. Cable.
I tried disconnecting that because, number one, I'm not home. Number two, we have no computer, which we needed internet for. And because my name wasn't on it, I couldn't disconnect it.
Why didn't you email him?
Name's on the bill.
Shh. Why didn't you email him and tell him?
No, that's the time.
Listen
Warner.
to me. Why didn't you email him and tell him to cancel it?
I did. I had emailed
Show me.
him.
Show me.
I don't have that email.
Anthony,
Yes.
where were you working in May?
In May, I was working at Quintera.
And where was she working?
Quintera.
Also.
That's how I met him.
So that's how you met, in May. When did she move in with you, Anthony?
I would say
In July.
Jump! Didn't ask you. I
June.
asked him.
beginning of June.
So from May, whatever, when you moved out until you moved in with Anthony here, where were you living?
I was just staying at friends as I was going back and forth because it was closer to my house.
What house?
Or not my house, but to my work. It was just easier because I lived pretty far from work.
Ever been married, Anthony?
No.
Don't do this one.
You getting the drift?
I do, I do.
You do get, I know that you get it, Anthony. I'm looking at your eyes.
She went wine tasting and forgot to pay the bill in February.
I didn't go wine
Listen.
tasting.
You told
Sir, listen to me. Very
there was
carefully.
a $69 late payment on that bill.
$3,688.
Sounds good to me.
Very good. And say, who is this young lady?
This is my sister.
Very nice young lady, very nice.
Thank you.
Say, thank you. I got home safely, right?
Yes.
I didn't make any big mistakes over there, and I didn't make any big mistakes over here. Got it?
Got it.
That's all. Thank you.
Parties are executed. You may step out.
I felt it was falling apart the second week we moved in together.
It's over, it's done with, and we don't need to start talking schmack.
I just hate that he has such a big heart and he was taken advantage of.
They said there's food left out. They said it's just disgusting looking. They said it's unfit for living.
He's emailing me now, trying to break us up.
It's over, it's done with. I just want him out of my life. I want to just be done with it, through.
She's nuts.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Lane versus Eberspacher. Step forward.
27-year-old Lisa Lane is suing her ex-boyfriend, 27-year-old Scott Eberspacher, for the cost to fix her bedroom window. Lisa claims Scott was trying to wake her up by throwing rocks.
All right, Lisa, how long were you dating Scott here when he made this nocturnal visit to your house?
About a month and a half.
Who do you live with?
I live with myself and my son.
And Scott was supposed to be over, according to your complaint, at about 10 o'clock that evening. Or he's
Right.
supposed to be over that evening, and he shows up at what time, Scott?
I got there around approximately 2:20 in the morning.
Why?
There was no set time, Your Honor.
How old is her child?
He would be 4.
There was no set time?
He was supposed to be
2:30
there
in the morning is not an appropriate time to go visiting, sir.
It's a booty call, Your Honor.
What?
It's a booty call. She always calls
Don't
late
be
night.
smart.
He's supposed to be
Just
there
a
before
second.
9.
Don't be. Listen, when I speak to you, you'll answer me.
Right.
According to your complaint, he was supposed to be there at 10. He wasn't there at 10. You locked the doors. He came 2 o'clock in the morning, rang the bell, whatever. You didn't answer. So he went to your window and he threw a rock at your window to get your attention. He got your attention. He broke the window. He came in. You spent the night together. Later on, you said, I want him to pay for the window.
I didn't know the window was broken.
All
until the
right.
next
Later
morning.
on, they found the window broken and you want him to pay for the window. That's what the case is.
I have a videotape showing a scenario of how he did it.
I don't care how he did it. You're not dating him anymore?
No.
What does that mean? That was a hesitation.
No, I do not date him anymore. He's too irresponsible.
So you haven't. When was the last time you saw him, Miss Lane? It's not an answer, madam.
I don't remember. It was like a month or so ago.
And when did this incident happen?
It was after the window was broke, because we joked about it, because he didn't really mean to break the window.
When did he break the window?
In April.
Okay. She says you broke the window, sir.
I didn't break the window, Your Honor.
I have the text message where he says he'll pay for it.
Oh. Is that dated?
Yes.
Okay. Show it to Bird, because he is
'Cause
my electronic...
I
I'm speaking. He is my electronic genius.
And so, if you just want to give that to the judge, then.
No, he doesn't give it to me. He's my electronic eyes and ears.
Scott Gold, you want me to find, but I say that this is why you pay association and insurance. I will probably never talk to you again if you want to go that route, so it's up to you.
What's the date of that?
May
Just go to the date.
May 29th.
Very good. And did you fix the window?
Yes, I did. And I have pictures of when it was broken.
I'd like to see the picture.
And I have the actual rocks, too. Here's the receipt, and here's the pictures when it was broken. Do you want the rocks?
You want the rocks?
No. Stick the rocks back where they were. These are the best pictures you could take.
I took a video flicks on my camera phone, and that's the best that we could come up with for a still shot. But I have the videotape right here that
I'm not interested in it.
Okay.
April 27th at 2:20 a.m. is when I went over to Lisa's house. And at that time, when I did, in fact, I tossed a ball, and then I tossed a very tiny pebble the size of a dime. Did not break the window. Matter of fact, the next morning when she had walked out, we'd walked out together, there was no broken glass or anything to my appearance or her appearance.
That's not English, to my appearance or to her appearance.
Okay. To my knowledge and to her knowledge, there was nothing broken.
Don't tell me about her knowledge. So your knowledge, there
To
was
my
no,
knowledge, there was
no
nothing
broken window. Well,
Correct.
then your knowledge is limited. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $360. That's all.
Parties. Preston. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
What's your name?
Judith Savaggio.
Savaggio, are you the girlfriend?
Yes, I'm his friend.
Good. Miss Savaggio, where do you live?
Bakersfield, California.
And where does Miss Cresson live?
She is my next door neighbor.
And how long have you lived there?
6 years, just over.
And how long have you lived there?
42 years.
And how long have you and Mr. Lawson been friends?
Off and on for about 5 years.
More recently, how long on?
Several months.
And when you say you're friends, he says he's your boyfriend. Would that be true?
There would have been a time I would have used that term, yes, Your Honor.
Maybe not now.
Correct.
And do you rent your home or do you own it?
I rent.
Do you rent or own?
I own.
Mr. Lawson, this is what this lawsuit is about. It is your claim that the defendant caused damage to your car with a squeegee.
That's correct.
And it is your claim that you did so purposely.
Absolutely.
Because you were involved in some sort of an altercation with her. She says she was merely defending herself. But I want to go back a little bit because I've read your complaint very carefully. Your complaint says that you and Mrs. Savaggio were boyfriend and girlfriend, and that she was having some trouble with Miss Cresson. Is that true?
Yes, Miss Cresson chopped off some limbs of a tree.
Just a second. The answer would be yes, you were having trouble. When did the trouble with Miss Cresson begin?
It was approximately the first week of June of last year.
June of 2003.
Correct.
Now, prior to June of 2003, had you been reasonable neighbors with each other?
To a degree, yes.
Fine. And then something happened. According to what I read from Mr. Lawson, she cut off some limbs of a tangerine tree and left them on your lawn. Something like that.
She would have had to pick them up and throw them over my fence.
Just a second. That's what it was about. Mr. Lawson says that in retaliation for that, he knew that Miss Cresson objected to his parking his car in front of her house. So he decided to irritate her by parking his car in front of her house permanently. That's what you say in your complaint, correct?
Until such time.
That's what you say in your complaint. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then what happened, Mr. Lawson?
I had left it there for a couple of days, Judge, and then I drove to
Why did you leave it there for a couple of days?
Because she had failed to remove the branches that she placed over on Judith's property.
What does that have to do with you?
Well, it was upsetting Judy.
Just a second. Just a second. If it was upsetting Judy, don't you think that she's intelligent enough to take care of it herself?
Yes, she's intelligent enough to take care of it herself.
Right. So you instead decided to make things worse between these two neighbors. You sort of sauntered in and said, I'm going to show my muscle because I'm a mature, thoughtful individual who, instead of trying to ameliorate a situation, I'm going to exacerbate a situation. So you, as an irritant, parked your car in front of her house. Now, after you did that, Mr. Lawson, tell me what happened.
Well, Your Honor, I had drove over to an appointment in my other vehicle.
Oh, just a second. So you have two cars?
Absolutely. I have a pickup truck and a sedan.
Good. And I assume that at the time, you also had your own apartment.
That is correct.
So what you're telling me, Mr. Lawson, is that you left, despite the fact that you lived elsewhere, you used the front of her house as a parking lot for your pickup truck.
No, Your Honor. That property is on a corner, and I use a side lot, which is completely out of her visibility all the time on the other street.
So when you said here, I decided to begin parking my car in front of her house, although I know it irritated her, that was a lie.
I park it in front of her house because it's not illegal to park in front of her house. It's a city street. It's owned by the public. I pay taxes.
Okay. So tell me what happened after you parked one of your two vehicles in front of her house all the time, sir.
Okay, well, I had driven, Your Honor, over to an appointment, and after returning over to Judy's house, which I visit all the time.
How much all the time, Mr. Lawson? Every day?
Every day.
3 times a week?
Yes.
Every day. So you returned to her house. And what time was it that you returned to her house after an appointment, Mr. Lawson?
It's approximately midday, 12, 1 o'clock.
Okay. What did you find when you got there?
When I got there, I found that there was 3 screens from Linda that were leaning up against my pickup truck that was parked at the curb.
What did you do when you saw the 3 screens that were leaning against your truck?
I got out of my car and I went over to the passenger side of the pickup truck that had the screens, noticing that Linda was all the way over there next to her house, the windows that she was squeegeeing, and I grabbed one of the screens and I threw it out in the middle of the street.
You grabbed one or all 3?
I believe I got to the second one before she bolted away from the windows, walking 30, or not walking, but running 35 feet away from this truck, and started chasing me down the street with a squeegee in hand like she wanted to bury it in my back.
Well, Mr. Lawson, why did you, instead of taking the screens and throwing them in the middle of the street, why didn't you just take them and throw them off your car?
Well, I probably could have done that.
Well, I'm just asking you why you didn't, sir.
Because she wouldn't pick up the limbs that she threw over the fence in Judy's house.
How old are you?
I'm 53, Your Honor.
Grow up. Don't you have better things to do than to create havoc? You're going to move on. She's been living in her house for 42 years. She's been living in her house for 6 years. You think she needs you to create more trouble?
No, Your Honor.
Right. All right. First of all, let's get to these limbs. I want you to tell me what happened to these limbs of the tangerine tree, because I want to hear it from you, and it better be the truth. Got it?
Got it.
Good. Let's go.
I trimmed the leaves that were, the branches that were hanging over into my yard.
Okay.
And
just a second. So the tree is in her backyard?
Front yard.
Front yard. And you trimmed the branches?
Correct.
And what did you do with the branches after you trimmed them?
I set them very neatly by the fence.
On her side?
Correct.
Why?
Your Honor. Because I had no room in my garbage can to put them.
Well, that's wrong, my dear. That's
And-
wrong. That's not neighborly. That's the wrong thing to do. You have perfect right to trim the branches that are hanging over your side of the property. You trim them and you cart them away. And if you don't have room in your garbage can, you wait until you do, because I assume that they have been growing for a long time. And if 1 week you don't have room, wait for the next week. So that was the wrong thing to do, correct?
Correct.
So who asked you to remove them?
No one, Your Honor.
Did you ask her to remove?
I wrote her a letter.
Did you receive her letter?
Yes, I did receive.
And what did the letter say?
In essence, the letter said that if I didn't remove them, that she was going to sue me. I called the owner, and he removed them.
When did he remove them?
Saturday morning.
So how long were they there in the yard?
2 or 3 days.
Is that right?
About a week.
Okay, but the owner of the premises that you rent ultimately removed
Yes, his
them.
son lives a half a block away. His son came and did it.
Fine. Terrific. So that's over. Now, how much after that incident did we have this parking in front?
The parking in front, the limbs were cut about on Monday. I'm not sure. I didn't see her cut them. I think it was Monday we discovered them. I sent her the notice on...
When?
The next day, as soon as I noticed.
Tuesday.
Well, on the following Thursday, I had visitors coming to my home.
The following Thursday?
2 days later.
Oh, that Thursday?
That Thursday.
Just a couple of days later?
A couple of days later. I had visitors coming up the walk to my house, and she chose to scream and yell at them that she was not going to move those. And I didn't think it was appropriate for her to start screaming at my visitors about these leaves.
Okay. Did you scream at somebody?
I never saw anybody come up any walk that entire week except for Vernon, who chose to park in front of my house and scream at me.
So you had an altercation with him after he started to park in front of your house?
Correct.
Is that right?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
He kept telling me, nope, I don't want you to go. I'm sorry, I got drunk. I shouldn't have acted this way. I'm sorry I locked the doors. I promise I won't do it again. Okay,
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Vernon Lawson says his ex-girlfriend's neighbor, Linda Crescent, damaged his car by hitting it with a squeegee.
Now tell me about the squeegee.
I was in front of my house washing and drying my windows, and I had a squeegee in my hand when he came screaming around the corner in his car and parked directly behind the pickup. He got out of the car clearly enraged with his fists clenched and came at me. And I turned to see him coming at me. And he grabbed one of the screens, threw it out in the street, and I went out to retrieve the screen knowing that there might be a car coming.
Why did you put the screens on his truck?
Because it was there. It was convenient. It was sitting right there.
Sounds to me like a lot of people behaving badly. A lot of grown-up people who don't have enough to do. It's what happens when you have too much leisure time. How many hours a week do you work?
30 hours a week.
How many hours a week do you work?
40.
I think you ought to work more. You did the wrong thing, Mr. Lawson. You did the wrong thing, Miss Grice. Now you want to show me a picture. I'm dying
May I
to
have
see
some
it.
pictures, Your
I'm
Honor?
dying to see it, Mr. Lawson.
Well, this one right here for evidence, Your Honor, shows my truck in respect to the windows where she had to pass the bushes and a tree in her front yard to lean up the screen.
Let
again.
me explain something to you. I understand that she did the wrong thing.
Okay.
I
There's-
said that. Did I agree with you? Mr.
there-
Lawson, I'm an ecumenical abuser.
Yes, ma'am. This is the wonderful dents in my car that she did with her squeegee since she couldn't get me.
This is the tree she cut, fence, put clippings, behind. Okay, so she knows she's not supposed to do that. That's not a neighborly thing to do. She wants to clip it and cut it, clips it and cuts it and put it in her trash. Right?
Correct.
Say sorry.
I'm sorry.
Perfect.
I accept that.
You accept her apology?
Yes.
Great. All right, now all you have to do is get rid of him, and then you're all set.
I'm working on that, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, I'm going to suggest that you get the dents out of your car for $100, sir, because I'm not giving you any more than that. She lost her temper. She shouldn't have done that. You acted badly. You have to pay for that. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $100. Listen, she's going to be your neighbor. He's going to be gone. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Linda gives a new dimension to Love Thy Neighbor.
This man is a very dangerous man.
Well, she acts very inappropriately toward the neighbors.
He had me arrested. He had asked the police to cuff me and take me to jail.
I am a Christian, and the Bible tells me to see that my neighbor lives beside me in peace. The Bible also tells me that it's a fool who despises her neighbor. So, Linda, I love you.
Thank you.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Gifford versus Swisher. Step forward, please.
Plaintiff Donna Gifford is suing her ex-boyfriend, construction worker Fred Swisher, for illegally evicting her from their home. Fred says Donna is vindictive and out of control.
Ms. Gifford, you and the defendant lived together as boyfriend and girlfriend from when to when?
From October of 2003 till June of 2004.
And you moved into his apartment?
His house, yes.
Into his house?
Yes.
Did you pay him any rent?
Yes, I did.
When?
June of 2004.
So from October of 2003 until June of 2004, you paid him no rent?
No.
Now, this lawsuit is about the fact that you claim that sometime in June of 2004, you gave him a check for $500. And within 2 days of that, he locked you out of the house.
Correct.
So you want not only your $500 back, but you want 10 times those damages because you claim he illegally evicted you from the house. Why did you put her out of the house?
This all happened on the 17th, which was Thursday. On the 12th, it was a Saturday. We got into a real bad fight.
Was it a verbal fight or a physical fight?
Verbal fight, but the police were called later that day.
Okay. That was on the 12th?
Yes.
What happened after the 12th?
Well, Sunday we got back together, made an amends. Monday she wrote me a check for $500. $400 of it was supposed to be to help pay the bills. $100 of it was supposed to be to pay for my phone that she threw in the canal on Saturday.
Did you throw his phone in the canal on Saturday?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
What happened to his phone?
I don't know.
Don't smile. What happened to his phone? You don't make up a story like that.
I don't know what happened to his phone. It was in the canal. It fell off his boat.
It went into the canal. How did it get there?
We were on the boat that day.
And?
And I don't know how it got in the canal. It was in the canal.
How did it get into the canal?
I never had possession of my phone that day. She had picked it up and stuck it in a baggie when we got on the boat, because that's what we usually do so they don't get wet. And then the next day, we couldn't find my phone, and I took off. Later, she had called me and said, I seen it in the water by your dock, and she fished it out.
Okay, so she didn't throw it into the canal. You didn't have a fight on the boat, did you?
Oh, yeah.
You did have a fight on the boat.
That's where it all started.
Well, it seems to me, Miss Gifford, that it was a good idea for you to not live any more as a couple. Wouldn't you say that?
Well, yes, in a sense.
What do you mean
I
in
could
a
say
sense?
that. Well,
yeah, but listen to me. If you're fighting with somebody, to the extent that the police are called, it's a good idea that one of you leave.
Correct.
Well, you didn't expect that to be Mr. Swisher. It's his house.
Correct.
So it had to be you.
Correct.
So why didn't you leave after this altercation on the 12th?
Because he kept telling me, nope, I don't want you to go. I'm sorry, I got drunk. I shouldn't have acted this way. I'm sorry I locked the doors. I promise I won't do it again. Okay, fine. I'd stay or I'd move back in. I mean, this was a constant thing.
You should have been smart enough to say, listen, I'm not going to be a yo-yo. I'm going to find my own place to live, or I'm going to pay rent, or I'm going to pay for my own expenses.
Right.
I don't need you. Do you work?
I was working at the time. I got fired because of this.
So, let's talk about the $500. On the 15th of June, she gave you a check for $500.
Yes.
And then 2 days later, you changed the locks.
No, I didn't change the locks. She agreed to move out, and I moved her out for her.
Fine. Terrific. So you have to give her back her $500.
Even for the cell phone?
Yeah, because I don't think that there's proof that she vindictively threw the cell phone overboard. You said you handed her the cell phone, you put it in a baggie, as you usually did, and she asked her where it was, and she said she saw it in the canal. Mr. Swisher, she gave you $500. You put her out. You lived together for 11 months. She wasn't paying rent, according to you, until the very last moment. So you took her money, and then you said goodbye. And you moved her out, which was a good thing. But you have to give it back at $500. Don't be a baby. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500. Good?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out. That's case number 499 on the calendar, the matter of Todoran versus Bracken. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Ms. Todoran, who was your witness?
My old roommate, Julie Perry.
Do you have information with regard to this case?
We lived together when Chad and I first started dating and when I moved out to New York with him.
That doesn't answer my question. Does she have evidence with regard to this case, or is she just here for moral support?
She's
is not an answer. Come on. You're going to law school?
Yes.
All right. That's what I gather from your complaint. If you're going to law school, you give me an answer. Does she have evidence? Does she have testimony to offer? Or is she here as just for good company?
She just has testimony.
Just has testimony. What year of law school are you in?
First.
Okay. And he?
I'm learning.
This is Ryan Barr. That's one of my best friends from New York. He'll offer testimony. He helped move the furniture.
Okay, good. You two people used to be in love with each other. You lived together for a little while. You don't anymore. And you claim he owes you some money for a loan, and he's got some property that belonged to you, a sofa or something that he agreed to pay for, and he didn't when you broke up. Mr. Bracken says that you were involved in a give-and-take relationship. That's what people do when they live together. Sometimes you paid, sometimes he paid. He owes you nothing.
Correct.
When did you move in together and where?
We first moved into an apartment. It was in June of 2003.
Listen to me. Is that the apartment we're talking about in this case?
There are two apartments. We moved into one.
I'm not interested in the first apartment in 2003.
They're both 2003.
Get to the one where you were living in, where you say you had to advance money for the security and first, last, and security. When was that?
That was July 2003.
How much was the rent on the apartment?
$1,700 a month.
What were you doing at the time?
I got a job as a freelance designer.
And he?
He was a production assistant.
And you agreed to split the rent?
Yes.
Is that right, sir?
Yes.
Good. Did you give her money for rent?
Yes, I did.
How much?
Half the rent. And what would happen a lot of times is...
I'm talking about when you first moved in.
Sorry.
When you first moved in, you have to give first, last, security. It's a whole big chunk of money.
Right.
Did you have that money to give her?
It did not happen in July the way you're stating it.
That's all I wanted to know.
Okay.
So you did not give her that money. How much did you give the landlord in July?
$5,000.
You have proof of that?
I have a receipt for my deposit and for $1,700, and I have the receipt for the broker's fee that I paid of $1,700.
Well, let me see what you have the receipt from. You should have the receipt from everything. You should have your check, cancel checks.
Your Honor, I didn't keep a lot of the documentation because he was my boyfriend and I trusted him and I loved him and I did not think that I would ever need these kind of things. We had an oral agreement.
Listen to me, my dear.
I trusted him. I know it was stupid.
Listen to me, my dear. You're going to law school. When two people love each other and are committed to each other, they get married. Then we have courts for them. What happened with you is you decide to come into court and to sue him and say, listen, I didn't keep my receipts. I don't have proof, but we had an agreement. And our agreement when we moved in together was we were going to split the bills down in half, right? And we didn't. I paid more. And he says, well, there came a time when you moved into this apartment that you lost your job.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked up the slack.
No, he didn't.
Well, that's what he's saying.
He's lying.
Just a second. How am I supposed to figure that out?
I moved out in December and I paid rent through the end of January to give him time to find a new place because actually we were getting evicted.
Show me.
I can't. I called the landlord and they refused to send me receipts since I was involved in a lawsuit. I'm telling the truth. I'm under oath. I would not make this up.
Did you break the lease?
We did. They just let us out. They just let us out of it.
What happened in 2004?
He made payments to me all year.
How much?
He paid me payments of $62, $100, $60, $50, $150. The last payment was this past December, 2004. I have the cashier's check right here for $150.
How much did he pay you in total?
$422.
What did you give her $422 for?
I felt that I owed her after, because every time I would try to negotiate with Ms. Toterown and say, because she always stuck with that number. And
What number?
$5,800. And I said, there's a lot of things that we need to talk about, why certain expenses shouldn't be considered in that debt and other things like that. Now, so what I came to determine was $1,400. And so I was acting in good faith by paying towards that.
Okay, so let us say that after 2.5 years, you decided that $1,400 was your fair share.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you paid for some things, she paid for some things. Neither of you have records.
I have records. I can show
So
everything.
why didn't you finish paying the $1,400?
No, I did. That's
She
what
says
the
she
payment...
got $400 from you, $422.
Okay, I can show...
Show me canceled checks for more.
Certainly.
And then we're out of here.
Well, I can only show you $300 in addition to what she is saying.
Show me.
There's that, as well as I have copies of the... I would write bills down that I owed on legal
Just a second.
pads.
I see one thing for... What?
It's very hard to tell this
I
stuff.
see one thing for $150.
And the other thing does say $150. It's hard to tell.
Well,
know
I
it's
can't read it.
undernumbered.
If I can't read it, my dear, then it doesn't exist.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She said she would stay until February. In actuality, 3 days later, she was packing when I got back from work.
It must have been your personality.
And later today,
I want him to leave me alone because I have a restraining order against him.
Your son has to get over the fact that she doesn't want to have anything to do with him anymore.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Emily Toterown says ex-boyfriend Chad Bracken owes for loans and a couch. Emily says moving to New York with Chad was a big mistake.
She has $422.
Mm-hmm.
Does that include a check on November 29th, 2004 for $150?
I have a copy of that right here.
Okay. You got credit for it.
Okay.
$422. So what happened to the rest?
All
What
right.
happened to the other $1,000, Mr. Bracken?
Okay. Now the rest, well, there are payments. As Ms. Toterown said, we didn't keep a lot of these things, so I've shown you everything that I do have.
All right. So let's
But
start
I
from
do
the
have, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I do have all the expenses from moving her furniture, which was 6 months after she left, actually almost 7 months after she left, that I kept with me. I moved twice. Mr. Barr helped me move these things into Brooklyn. Now, when we moved from New York, I moved everything and paid all the expenses to return her furniture to her.
How much was that?
$1,227.
Did you receive furniture from him?
No, I did not.
Just a minute, what did you return to her, sir?
I returned all her stereo equipment, a television.
Nope.
Show me the address where you sent it.
I didn't send it. She came and picked it up from my house when I got back to Indianapolis.
Lies.
You said expenses to send it back to her.
No, to move it back.
Give it back to him. You owe her $1,000. That's based on your statement, sir, because I'm not going through your bills from 2.5 years ago. $50 here and $12 there. Let's take what you have.
Okay.
The debt that you acknowledge was $1,400 and you paid her $422. That leaves about $1,000. Now, what about this couch that she says that she sold to you and you never paid her for?
Okay, can I just back up 1 second?
Yeah.
So the moving expenses...
I'm getting so bored with this.
All right. All right,
Why is
the
it boring?
furniture... Basically, the furniture, when she decided to move, she said she would stay until February. In actuality, 3 days later, she was packing when I got back from work in a minivan. Now...
It must have been your personality.
I can't speak to what was in her head. I can't speak to what her...
The couch.
Okay, so she left 3 days later in a minivan. She said, I can't, move this furniture. I said, well, if you're going to charge me half of it, take the furniture with you. She said, no, I can't move it. You keep it.
Okay, and your
Can I
version of the
speak?
couch?
My version of the couch is we went to the store together with the intention of purchasing a couch and paying for half of it, which I have the receipt for
No,
right
you weren't
here.
intending to purchase a couch for half. You were intending to purchase a couch for full price.
Yes, so I
And you were
purchased...
each going to pay half.
I purchased the couch for full price, and before I purchased it, I said, you're going to pay me back for half of this, correct?
Just don't
And
look
what
at it. Don't look at it.
Okay, and he said yes. So then when I was moving, he was going to stay in New York for an indefinite period of time. So I said, you know what? You keep the couch. You still owe me half for it, but you just go ahead and keep it.
Listen, when two young people want to play house, they shouldn't irritate me. You have the couch?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you return her stereo equipment?
Absolutely.
No.
Did you return her television set?
I returned everything.
Go ahead.
Sometime in April or something, the new apartment he lived in New York burnt down.
Did he return any property to you?
He returned my TV, but my stereo apparently was damaged in the fire.
Judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $1,000. That's all. Step out. Don't play house anymore.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
The defendant is probably the biggest liar I've ever met in my entire life.
When we got to the end of the relationship and she hadn't been employed for 2 months, she realized she'd be safer back at home, I think she left.
I thought Chad was sketchy all along, so I was actually warning her at the time when she wanted to move to New York with him to not do it.
She made a bad decision being in New York and she paid for it, and she wanted me to be the easy target.
I just don't understand how a person like that can live their life and get out of bed and think they're a good person every day. And his hair is kind of disturbing too.
I hope this ends it.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Webb versus Batum, step forward.
21-year-old Philip Webb is suing his ex-fiancée, 19-year-old cashier Crystal Batum, for rent and the return of a wedding ring set. Crystal says Philip is stalking her.
Are you scared to death or just unhappy?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Cheer up. It's only money. Mr. Webb, Ms. Batum used to be your girlfriend. You lived together for a period of time at some point in your mother's house. Is this your mother?
Yes.
You broke up and you claimed that Ms. Batum came to the house and she took a ring set that you purchased.
Yes.
You want the ring set back. And in addition, you say that Ms. Batum also owes you for a month's rent.
Yeah, for her half of the rent.
Her half of the rent when you were living at your mother's house.
Yes.
Ms. Batum says she paid for the ring set and that there was never any arrangement to pay rent to your mother. Neither of you ever paid rent to your mother. Is that right?
Yeah.
When did you start to live with Ms. Batum in your mother's house?
In August, my mother...
August of what year?
2004. My mother had spoke with us in August and told us, now that, both of us are working with a steady income, she wanted us to pay $300 a month rent.
Mm-hmm.
And then September 23rd is when she left. And I had...
Oh, did she agree to pay your mother $300 a month rent?
Yes, we both did.
When in August did your mother have this conversation with you?
Around the middle of the month.
And when did she expect you to start to pay rent?
She expected us to start to pay rent the following month.
In September?
Yes.
And she moved out in September?
She moved out in the end of September.
Mr. Webb, you got to get over this.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Philip Webb says ex-fiancée Crystal Batum owes for rent and the return of a wedding ring set. Crystal says Philip is still in love with her.
So did you pay your mother $300 on September 1st? You have a check for that, I assume.
No, I paid her cash. I paid her around the middle of the month when I had gotten my paycheck.
And what about in October? Did you pay her in October?
No, I had moved out.
When in October?
I moved out around the 5th, 6th of October.
And you mean you didn't pay her for October? For the first 6 days in October? You understand what I'm saying to you,
Yeah,
Mr.
I
Webb? Well,
understand.
you're getting my gist. Stop being petty. Now let's forget about the rent. And let's go to the ring set.
The ring set, I have the receipt where I purchased it.
Good. Do you have the proof that you paid for it?
I paid in cash. So,
Really? Let me see.
And the lady's business card that sold it to me.
I want to
I have
see what
that
you
also.
have. And then Ms. Batum says that she paid for the ring set. So we're going to see. Paid for the ring set. This says paid $500, tax included. Now, Ms. Batum, you left sometime in September.
Yeah.
You had an argument, or you just decided things
No,
weren't
I got tired of everything and I just up and left.
Tell me why you took the ring set.
Well, because we both went in halves on it. We went to the bank, we pulled out some of the money, and then he went back and gave them the rest. And it wasn't $500, it was $300.
Well, he has a receipt that he paid for this.
Well, I
and-
have the rings, so.
Let me have them. Do you have any proof whatsoever, Miss Batum, that you paid for these rings?
No, because it came out of the ATM.
Okay. Good. Very nice. He gets them back. Perfect. Anything else?
No, that's it.
I want him to leave me alone, too, because I have a restraining order against him. And on February 12th, he mailed me a letter.
Can I see the letter? Can I see a copy of a restraining order? You attended a hearing, Mr. Webb, with regard to this restraining order?
Yes.
Did you consent to the restraining order?
I consented, but I didn't agree with it because
I don't care
a
whether
lot
you
of it
agreed
was...
with it or not. You consented to it.
Yes,
you
I
were to
did.
stay away within 100 yards from her,
And I have
from her
done so.
home, and from her job, right?
Yes.
It was her birthday?
Yes.
That's why you sent these?
Yes.
You're not allowed to send them.
I didn't know that. I just was told I had to stay away from her work and stay away from her.
Listen to me, Mr. Webb. You were served with a copy of this protective order.
Yes.
In this protective order, it not only says that you have to stay 100 yards away from her, it reads, and I'm going to read it to you very carefully. You may not do the following. You may not contact her directly or indirectly, or telephone, send messages, or mail or email. Now, while this is not threatening,
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's a love letter. You're not understanding that it's over and that she doesn't want you to have any contact with her. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
You don't want to get into any further difficulty. Is there any other thing that I have to resolve with regard to property or anything else?
Yeah, I have one more thing. I left my birth certificate there. I need my birth certificate back.
Okay. Now you can stand up. Your last name is Webb?
Correct.
You have her birth certificate?
I do.
Okay. I want you to give her birth certificate to your mother. Your mother is going to mail it to this court. This court will see to it that you get it.
Okay. May I say something, please?
Yes.
I know you already went over the rent issue, but I have to bring it up again. It was August 2003. She was the only one with a job at that point.
I'm telling you, you spoke to her in the middle of August. She moved out in September. We're talking about petty stuff, Miss Webb.
I
Petty.
understand that, but
I'm telling you that you're talking about petty stuff. Your son moved out into the month of October. Did you sue him for the rent?
no, because he did
Just a
give
second.
me a full...
Just a second. Did you sue him for the rent?
No, I did not,
Of
ma'am.
course not, because you're not petty. Right? Your son has to get over the fact that she doesn't want to have anything to do with him anymore. And you should, as his mother, not exacerbate it. You should say, listen.
No, I just want what's going, and she owes the rent.
Well, I think that you should speak to your son about it.
He already paid her half.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Okay, good. You have a check?
No.
You have
No,
a check?
he paid me in cash
You have
for
a check?
$300.
Good. I don't believe you. Sit down. There is no need for you to contact her anymore. Put a period. You have the rings. You're not to email her, mail her, phone her, follow her, be within 100 yards of her. Got it?
Yes.
Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. The fact that I've told this to you doesn't prevent her from going back to court and saying you violated the order. She can still do that. I don't know whether she wants to do that, but what she wants is she wants you to know unequivocally that you're not to have any contact with her. Clear?
Yes, I'm
Good.
perfectly
That's
clear.
all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Pope versus Page. You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Ms. Pope, the defendant was a former boyfriend of yours. You lived together for a period of time. Yes. You no longer are together.
Correct.
According to your complaint, Mr. Page owes you for a variety of things.
Correct.
And in addition to these loans that you claim, you say that he has some property that belongs to you that he took from storage.
Yes.
Mr. Page says he owes you nothing. There was never an agreement to pay rent. The car that you bought him was an old piece of junk, and he returned it to you anyway, and that was a gift. And that the one thing he took from storage with his current girlfriend, who I assume you brought to court,
Yes.
right, for any particular reason,
Yes.
or just to be irritating,
No.
he returned to you, which was a sewing machine that he took from storage and he gave it back. So, during what period of time did you and Mr. Page live together?
From January of 2002 to March of 2004.
And was this in an apartment that you had leased?
We first lived in a house that I owned, and then I sold the house and we moved into a house that was rented until we broke up.
And who was on the lease in the rented house?
We both were.
Is that right, sir?
Yes.
Who moved out first?
Me.
Any particular reason?
He wasn't helping pay the bills, so I figured I had to go somewhere cheaper I could afford.
Where were you working, Mr. Page?
At Rayco, the place I currently work at.
Rayco?
Yes.
What is that?
It is an electrical supply company.
How long have you been working there?
It'll be 2 years in September, so about a year and a half.
And what kind of money do you earn there?
$45 a year.
It's a decent salary. So you were helping to pay the bills?
Yes, I was.
No, he wasn't.
All right.
He didn't have the job until close to the end of the relationship.
Tell me about the rent arrangement that you claim.
When he moved in with me in January, we both agreed
January of what year?
2002. We agreed that we would split the house payment in half and the utilities in half. Everything would be 50-50.
You're not claiming anything from 2002, 2003, are you?
Yeah, I paid all the house payments.
I'm not interested in that, madam.
Okay.
If he didn't pay the bills in January of 2002, February of 2002, March of 2002.
He did pay some. He gave me $4,000.
March of 2002, June of 2002, you pack a suitcase and you put him out.
He did pay some.
I'm not going to 2002, 2003, 2003 until 2004. You know, if you're sleeping with somebody and living with them as a family and everything is going along smoothly and you let him slide with regard to the rent because he, according to you, wasn't working and didn't get a job until, according to you, the end of the relationship is over now. Don't bother courts.
Okay.
You got it? Good. So he moved out in March of 2004?
Correct.
And you got the job, listen to me, sir, you got the job in September of 2003, according to you.
Correct.
Did you contribute to household expenses from March of 2004 until September of 2003?
Yes, I did.
You have receipts for money that you gave her?
No, I did not.
Well, how much money did you give her?
She was like the financial allocator in the relationship, so she would ask me, you know, I need this much this week. So I would just give it to her. I trusted her.
You have to be more specific to me, sir. After you got your job in March of 2004, did you or did you not contribute to half of the household expenses?
Yes, ma'am.
How?
Through money that I earned at my job.
Tell me physically how you did that. Did you deposit your check in
No, I gave the money directly to her, yes.
So, no. Well, your employer did not give you $45,000 a year in cash. You got your check and you put it in a...
savings account.
And then you took out from the savings account, interesting, from the savings account you took out a certain amount of...
money.
Cash.
Yes.
And with that cash, you gave her money, according to you, every week.
Every week.
Show me.
I have no documentation of it.
Well, where did you think you were coming today, Mr. Page? I mean, did you think you were coming to the opening of an opera?
No, I did not.
You were coming to a court. And if your defense to this action is that I did pay household expenses, you would bring something that would show me deposits every week or every 2 weeks from your check, and then a certain amount that you took out for yourself. Right?
Right.
So you don't have that.
No, I do not.
So I'm going to start in October of 2003, because he just started working, according to him, in September of 2003. Starts to put some money away. Let's deal. October, November, December, January, February. When in March did he move out?
On the 4th of March.
5 months then. What was the rent on the house he was living in?
$700 a month.
And prior to that, Mr. Page, you were not working, so you were contributing nothing.
That's not true. I was working at Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut?
Yes, at that time.
Pizza Hut.
Before that.
No, you weren't amassing a fortune working at Pizza Hut.
No, I was not.
Who are you?
I'm Laura Pope's witness.
Just a second. I just asked you who you were.
I'm Cynthia Radamilli.
Are you related to her in any way?
No, we're just friends.
Good. When I need you, I'll call you.
Okay.
We have $350 a month, which is half the rent, times 5, which equals $1,750. That's what you should have paid, minimally, when you started to work at your $45,000 a year job. Now, let's talk about the car.
Okay.
When did you purchase this car for him?
January of 04.
Tell me the circumstances, according to you, Ms. Pope, of how the car was purchased.
He needed a car to go to and from work, and he agreed if I helped him get a car, that he would make payments on the car till it was paid off, and that's how he was going to be able to pay me for the money he owed me getting a job.
So did the two of you go to look for a car?
No, I went and got the car for him. He didn't want to go.
Just a second. On what day of the week did you do that?
I don't know. I have the paperwork.
Paperwork you may have, madam. My question is, how old are you?
21.
A 21-year-old guy doesn't say to somebody who he's living with, listen, I want to buy a car, I need a car to go to work. If you go pick it out for me, I'll pay you for it.
Right. And she went there with her ex-boyfriend, Your Honor.
Just a second. Does it sound as if you're losing this debate so far? Except the rent part.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So you married after you separated from him?
Yes.
Immediately.
When did you get married?
June.
Somebody a little more age appropriate?
Yes.
Play around with a baby, you get actions like a baby.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Laura Pope says her former live-in boyfriend, Jonathan Page, owes for rent, the balance on a car, and for the return of stolen property.
Go ahead.
We weren't going to get a fancy car, just something that would get him to and from work. That's what we agreed on, and that's what I got. When I took the car back, he said it's fine. I could have took the car back. I had 5 days to take the car back. He agreed it was fine. And we also agreed he would only pay half of the car. I was helping him out.
You mean they let you take the car off the lot without paying for it?
No, I put a deposit down to take the car off the lot. $300 I put down to take the car.
How much was the car?
$1,183.
Did you pay any money towards the car, Mr. Page?
Yes, I did.
You did?
As far as repairs and
Oh, no.
go. No, I
My
didn't.
question to you, Mr. Page, is a simple one. I
purchase of
speak
the car.
English. Did you pay any money towards the car?
No, it was a gift.
Who paid for the insurance?
I did.
Actually, that's not true. Both of us did. We both paid on it.
How
I
did
have
you
the
both
receipts
pay
for
for
it.
insurance?
Well, I would give her the money for it some months when she didn't have it, so.
The insurance was in his name only. I paid it. I got the insurance.
Where's the car now?
It's at the police towing because he had it towed to my house in December of '04 because it didn't work anymore. And I asked him, he took the plates off the car. And I said, Jonathan, I need the plates for the car. Oh, I'll give them to you. I'll give them to you. Come get them. Came, he never showed up, never got the plates. The plates are still good until May of this year.
What'd you do that for?
They came with the plates. I sent them over there with the plates. They were already expired.
I have the
So-
registration to show there. That's different.
Why did you bring the car back to her house?
Because she wouldn't give me the title to it. So it was really her car still.
Whose name was on the title?
Hers.
Mine.
Oh, goodbye. You had the car. You should have taken better care of it. All right, let's not deal with the car anymore. What else do you claim he owes you?
He owes me for property he stole out of my storage
Now,
bin.
why did you go to her storage unit? That's the question that I have.
That was our storage bin. Yeah, she had gave me one key to it. We both had both of our stuff in it.
What did you have in there?
I had all of my office equipment in there.
Why did you take her sewing machine?
She had boxed all the stuff up when she had initially put it in there, so all of our stuff was mixed up. When I took it to my parents' house, I unpacked it. I noticed like some of her items are in there. Those got returned.
Well, when did you, let's start, Mr. Page. When did you go to the storage unit? What date?
I would say about May.
I need a date. Around May is not a date.
May 16th, a couple days before my birthday, I know that. So my birthday.
See how we're getting closer? A couple of days before your birthday, around May 16th. And who did you go there with?
I went there alone.
Did you tell her you were going?
No.
Why not?
Because I was assuming that she would not allow me to get my stuff because she was being a little vindictive about getting my stuff in the first place.
When did you call her and say that I, by mistake, got some of your stuff?
Well, she was calling me all the time.
That's not my question.
When
did you call her and say to her, I mistakenly took some of your stuff?
I never did.
Why not?
Because she was always coming to my house and she got it anyway, so.
I want you to understand something, Mr. Page. My reactions to you have nothing to do with whether I like you or don't like you, because I don't know you well enough to either like you or dislike you. My reactions to you are the reactions of somebody who's listening to facts that don't make sense for somebody who's trying to do the right thing. Do you understand me?
Yes, I do.
If you're in a relationship with somebody and lived with them for a substantial period of time, and for most of that time they were supporting you, which she was, and you had some things that were in a mutual storage facility, I can understand, as a matter of fact, why you would want to go there by yourself and not confront her if you separated in something less than an amicable situation. But once having gotten the stuff home, if you didn't open boxes there, and realizing that you got some stuff, I would either email her or pick up a phone and call or write a letter and say, I'm sorry, I have the following stuff. Or even better, taking the same key with which you got into the storage and taking the stuff back. We understand each other.
Yes, I do.
You did none of those things. You waited for her to have to come over with the police to get her things.
No, she didn't come with the police.
Who did you come with?
I came by myself, and then my husband came.
Is this your husband or your ex-husband?
My husband, current husband.
Current husband. So you married after you separated from him?
Yes.
Immediately.
When did you get married?
June.
June. You have a nice husband now?
I do.
Very good. Glad to hear it.
Thank you.
Somebody a little more age appropriate?
Yes.
Perfect. Play around with a baby, you get actions like a baby. You understand?
Yes.
You got your sewing machine back. What
No,
else did he give you?
I do not have my sewing machine
You
back.
don't have it back?
No, we went Friday the 18th, February 18th. He agreed to meet me.
February 18th of 2005?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
He agreed to meet me at his mother's house at 1 o'clock, which is where he claimed my stuff was. I was there, he wasn't. I ended up getting his phone number through information. He was still in bed. He ended up over there like 1:45. He came out with a serger machine, put it in the car. I said, because he agreed to pay for the towing fees on the car, because I had to get it towed, the police towed it. Anyway, he said, well, I don't think I owe you the money, fine, whatever. He brought the one machine out, put it in my car, got mad, took it back out of my car. And I said, I'm not going to play the games, we'll just go to court. And I left.
That's not true. I
That
gave her
is
her
true.
surgery machine. She still has it.
He didn't. He took it out of my car.
And that was the only belonging of hers that I had. I gave it to her.
You told me that you took several items of hers out of storage, sir. Not more than 5 minutes ago, you said several of her things got mixed up with your stuff.
Well, that's
You just told me that.
Right, those little knick-knack things that were given back to her.
When?
On that day. Along with her little surgery machine, her husband took them with her, so he should have told her that.
May I please see the list of things that you say he has from storage?
Yeah, well, it's on the statement also. I have a letter I sent him. Oh, he has a letter?
Yeah.
That's the same letter I have.
And at the bottom, my social security number's on there, and she said she put it on there so I couldn't hide for whatever.
What? I don't understand. I don't understand. You have to speak up, speak clearly.
My social security number's on the bottom of there, and she said she put it on there so I couldn't hide from her. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, whatever threat that means. And on there,
You have a serger machine and a sewing machine. What's a serger?
It's
that's what I gave back
the
to her.
piece on that, like that makes the hems on your pants. Those little fancy.
Do you have the receipts for these things, madam?
No, I do not.
Anything else you want to tell me?
Yes, on that letter it said all my belongings have been returned to me. Actually, they have not, including a 19-inch Sylvania TV that she has of mine and $748 she owes me.
Probably should have filed a counterclaim, sir.
I know, I should have.
Well, you didn't. And when you file the counterclaim, sir, I suggest you get all your bank records so that you can also, have something other than, you need to smile when you come to court. What else?
Actually, all her claims are null and void due to this agreement that we signed.
I like to say something about that agreement.
We both signed that agreement on that date, and we agreed that there would be no further action.
Don't lie.
Ms. Pope, I have a letter.
Yes.
An agreement.
Yes.
That is signed.
Yes.
Your signature. Dated the 18th of February. Date that I think that you discussed that.
We had went over there.
You came over to the house to get your property.
Correct.
And I'm going to read it to you. It says final settlement. Who typed this up?
I typed it up.
Final settlement on this date, February 18th. You both agreed that neither party owes the other any monies or property from this day forward. This settlement agreement includes and is limited to all dates and times prior to February 19th, 2005. Final settlement is legal and both parties have agreed fully to its content, and final settlement can be used in a court if ever contested by either party. When did you prepare this?
Prepared that the day we agreed to meet, the day he said he was going to make the payments and return my property. I showed him that paper. I said, this is what we'll sign. I had already signed it because I believed he was going to do what he said. He took that paper and would not give it back, and I told him, I said, because there was two copies, my copy and his copy. I said, we both have to sign this for it to be in agreement.
Where's your copy?
He never signed it, so I didn't bring it.
Well, wouldn't that be some evidence, madam, that it was not fully executed, that each of you didn't have a fully executed copy?
He knows he didn't sign it there. He knows this.
Yes, I did. There is no other copy.
Listen to me.
was just thinking, why do we actually care about democracy? I mean, it's not perfect, but at least we get to have a say, right? We vote, we speak up, and if we don't like what's happening, we can actually try to change it. And honestly, I love that we can call out our leaders and not get in trouble for it. If someone's not doing their job, we can vote them out. It's not always quick, but at least we are not stuck with the same people forever. And let's be real, having the freedom to say what's on your mind, believe what you want, and just be yourself, that's something special. Not everyone in the world gets that. So, yeah, democracy isn't perfect, but it gives us hope that things can get better. What do you think? Does democracy work for us or not? Thank you for watching this video, and I'm waiting for your comments. Thanks.